Hi, Anshu.
Hello, hello, hello.
You okay?
From last 5 minutes, I was struggling for the same. Then I have sent it. Even still, I'm not able to join from my mobile. Then I just opened my laptop.
Okay.
Working. One thing I
I
have
can log in from my mobile.
one thing I have realized that we next time we will keep submit for one day only.
Okay.
What you say? What is your feedback?
My feedback is good because if you go over 2 hours, it will be too tiring.
And
People are getting overtired and they don't listen.
yes, and next is that you have also your network. You had your also network meeting. Oh my God, how you handle it? I don't know.
And
Hats
after
off, hats off.
and after the meeting, I had another 2-hour session.
Oh my God, how? Clap for Maria Doroto. The same enthusiasm. Hello
Yes.
everyone. Hello Beat. Hello
Hello.
Frankie. Hello Devi. Hello
Oh,
Jody Edward. Finally,
always.
Jody
Always.
is with us.
Yeah.
You okay?
Even in terms of getting audiences, also we have to ignore 2 days continue summit. Because if one day audiences is coming, so it is not compulsory that another day they will come.
Yeah, that's very true. But on the other hand, some people are not able to be on day 1 and come on day 2.
Yes.
Hi, Debbie.
Good morning,
Hello.
everyone.
Hello, Debbie.
This is
Hi, Joanne.
early, but anyway. How is everyone today?
Yeah.
You got the message, Debbie.
I do? Okay, well, I'll take care of it later. One thing at a time, which is a hard thing for me to learn.
Hello Lisa. Hello Trace.
Hello, young man. How are you, Chris?
Hello, Lisa. Hello, Chris. Hello, Joanne.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
Glad to be here on day 2. Sorry I missed yesterday.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
John is having problems to get in. I'm hoping he's going to get in now.
All right.
Well, I had problems initially too, because there's 2 meeting links and one of them says the host is in another meeting, and then finally I tried an earlier link and it worked. So I just resent the one that worked.
I've just sent him the one that worked as well, so he should be able to get in.
Yeah, he should be able to get in. Morning, Lisa. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi, Alicia.
Some of those mornings are very dull. Come on. It's early morning. You are full of energy.
Oh, you want that one like, good morning.
Exactly.
Nice to see you all today. But come on.
Is still asleep.
That makes everybody happy now because you realize it can't be as bad as that.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to see you all. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Oh.
Oh, that's the shit.
Hello?
Available for birthdays, weddings, christenings, bar mitzvahs.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, okay. Someone, John. John is not able to join. Maria. I think he's waiting for your confirmations. Okay, now he's in.
John, good on you, John.
Oh,
Good morning, John.
well, thanks to Lisa. Lisa, your link got me in there, so thank you so much. I was beginning to panic there. Well, oh my God.
Oh, Maria, actually the same problem is happening with everyone. I got the message that everyone is struggling to joining the meeting. Like Andrea.
Let me put the link I gave John in the chat and then you can send it to the Manchu.
Yeah, now I have said the same. She is here.
Is there
Hello,
any?
Andrea.
Oh, she's in.
Bluetooth mode.
Maria, you're on mute.
So welcome to this second day of summit. Let me introduce this little fellow who is going to be the timekeeper today. So if you see it on screen, that means you have 5 minutes to go, okay?
Lovely.
Fantastic. So without any delay, let's start our lineup. And allow me to introduce you to speaker number 1, John Bullock, who is pain point coach, a coach that is using amazing techniques from his boxing time to teach people and coach them. John also runs Tuesday and Friday morning beach boxing exercise. It's brilliant. I have taken part in it and I recommend to everyone. And John is a husband and the father of 2. He has a son who is also following his steps in boxing, and the daughter, and he is just a person who also organizes fantastic retreats in the UK and outside of UK. So John, over to you.
Well, thank you very much for a lovely introduction, Maria. I hope I can live up to your kind words, but I'll certainly do my best. And thank you so much for everyone being here and inviting me on. So here we go. Now, there's no prizes for trying to guess what that was. No prizes at all. But I'm sort of reminded, Anshu said, but she got everybody up and dancing. You know, it's amazing what music does to you, doesn't it? It gets you up. You want to go up and give it a go. I don't know who your favorite music is. But I'll tell you what I must do. I must thank Mick thanks very much for doing that. I really do appreciate what you've just done there. It's great having the Rolling Stones just here, right in my room with me. Fantastic. Thanks, Mick. Isn't that the thing about social media? We just don't know what's true and what is not true. The reality of the situation is, of course, I could have Mick here. Mick could be standing right next to me right now. And some of you may know Mick the plumber, and some of you may not know him. But that's the thing about social media. We just don't know what it is and what people are saying and what people are conveying all the time. We have to have an ability to sort of get behind the message and but not just get behind the message. I think having the ability and the experience to look at something and to say to yourself, does it really stand up to be true? And what are we doing with regards to checking things out to ensure that they are true? Well, my name, as Maria said, is John Bullock. I'm known as the Pain Point Coach. Pain Point Coaching is really all about reprogramming the subconscious mind. If you like, it's like being a mental coach. That's exactly what it's about. And I want to share with you a couple of stories that I've had to do with social media. And so one of these stories, you're going to laugh and you're going to think it's incredibly funny. And another one of the stories, you know, it's not so funny, but they are my experiences of social media. And I want to share them with you. I am reminded 15 years ago when social media really started up and people had their mobile phones and they were more common use, you know, and Liverpool won this fantastic shopping centre. For those of you who know Liverpool at all or visited the UK, well, no, it was a brand new shopping centre. Michael's still going for it. Michael, I don't know what he's listening to now, but he's still going for it. But anyway, getting back to Liverpool One, this fantastic new shopping centre that was opened on Merseyside. And it was very near Christmas. And this particular Christmas was absolutely freezing cold. So I want you to imagine Christmas time, lots of shoppers, people around, madness, rushing everywhere, banging into one another with all these bags, paraphernalia. And I heard those wonderful words from my wife. She said to me, I want to go Christmas shopping. And I went, oh God. And I had this vision of all these people banging into one another, people trying to rush, trying to get everywhere. And I wasn't enthused about it at all. But I'm sure my wife, in her mind, she'd visioned carol singers around the Christmas tree. She'd envisioned people warming up chestnuts on an open fire. And she was really there in that particular Christmas mood. And unfortunately, I wasn't. I wasn't there because I was thinking it typically like a man. Anyway, as a child, when I went Christmas shopping with my parents, every shop I went into, whether it was Marks and Spencer's, Debenhams, another big store, it always had, I don't know if anybody on here can remember this, it always had pay here signs. Didn't matter where you were in the shop, you would say, you can pay here, pay over here. So whatever goods you had, you knew the direction that to go into and which to pay for your goods. I don't know how many of you here can remember that. Can people remember going to those type of shops and they're telling you, Michael, that's one, Frankie, well, that was my experience. That was exactly what I was used to when I was shopping. And I remember when we got into Liverpool this day, it was really cold. It was absolutely freezing. And the Apple store had just opened, this massive store. And when I looked in this shop, of all the shops my wife wanted me to do, she wanted me to go into this shop and buy some vouchers. And I looked into this shop and it was just full of teenagers running from device to device, having a go on all these appliances, whatever they were doing. And I had 3 or 4 shop assistants within there. And these guys were very tall in their yellow t-shirts, all looked very smart. But in my mind, I was picturing a scenario whereby I would queue up with these vouchers to ask this guy, where can I pay for these vouchers? But as I'm about to approach this fella, one of these kids was bound to jump up, grab hold of him, and move him to a computer. So I'm becoming all stressed in my head for no real reason whatsoever, creating this stress in my head for no reason at all. And I'm thinking about this scenario that I've got these vouchers and I've got to pay for them, and I'm looking everywhere in this shop. And if you've ever been in the Apple store, there is no sign that says, come and pay here. Pay here. There's nothing. But moreover, I should say, there's no tills neither. So I'm looking with these vouchers in my hand. I'm seeing all these kids run around going from machine to machine. I just want to pay and I want to get out. And no tills. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking to myself, well, if I stand here and wait for one of these assistants to come available, one of these kids are going to pop up, take this guy and take him to where he needs to go. And I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do. So all the more I'm becoming more and more agitated. And my wife, and I always remember, she looked at me and she thought to herself, don't do it, because she knew exactly what I was going to do. And in the middle of the shop, I threw my arm up like that. And I just went, shop, 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 like this. And this fella in the yellow t-shirt runs over to me and goes, what's wrong, sir? What's wrong? I said, I just want to pay for these and go. And he said, well, it's no problem, sir. You don't have to stress or worry whatsoever. He said, we don't have tills now. He said, but what we have is we can scan your vouchers. And he took hold of his thing, and as he was taking hold of it to scan my vouchers, I said to him, there's just no tills in it. No tills anyway. He said, we don't need tills there. We've got our Apple device. We've got our Apple phone. And he went on to scan these vouchers. The trouble of it is they work in optimum temperatures. This was an absolute freezing cold day. And as he scanned it, he waited for this bleep or whatever was going to happen with the price. Nothing came up at all. Nothing occurred out of it at all. And he said, I'm so sorry, sir. And he went to do it again. And he tried to scan it again. And again, nothing happened again. And he tried to scan it again. And by now, I'm looking at this guy, and I couldn't resist. I took him by the arm and I said, don't you wish you had a till now, son? So for me, I still look back at that day now. We still have a sort of laugh about that. But it does say something about technology. If technology is working, it's great. If it doesn't work, how our whole lives can fall apart now. And it does make you think with regards to our dependency on technology. And here we are now, we're having this meeting, and I'll be the first to agree, there's people from all over the world, and it is a fantastic experience. But again, it also has its limitations. So that was one experience with an Apple store that I sort of remembered fondly. And I can have a laugh about that as I look back now. But another experience I received was when I was over the last few months, and I received some very, very negative feedback on social media that I was putting out, whether that was on YouTube videos and or on Facebook. This and it was a young person. This particular person started making personal comments, and they were quite personal. You know, what does somebody your age think you're doing? You look stupid. You look ridiculous. Who do you think you are? Type of thing. And I'd be alive to say to you that it didn't affect me, because it does. I think when somebody gives you criticism, but it does make you look at what you're doing. But besides making you look at what you're doing, it also made me question about where I am in life and what I was actually doing with my life. It made me look at those aspects within my life, because the vitriol that I was exposed to was very, very, very strong. And the irony of the situation, as some of you may realize, that this person was responding to every post that I put out. And the reality of the situation is this, is that, you know, for me, in my way of thinking, at my age, I'm thinking if there's something I wouldn't like, I would not put myself in a position of where I would not put myself in a position whereby when I would have to I wouldn't watch something if I didn't like it. And I think that's what I'm simply trying to express in that particular situation. But the reality of it is this: it did make me question what I was doing, and it also made me question with regards to the way I was using my time. And my time, for especially for people over 40, is very, very precious to me now, because there's the realization that I've used quite a bit of runway that I will have, and the runway that's left may be limited. And therefore, for the way I spend my time and for what I devote in my life for the things that I want to achieve are very important to me. And the irony of this situation, this negative feedback, was that it did begin to make me question. And I thought about it, and I did question myself with regards to, was I ridiculous? Had my life been a waste of time? And I started to question myself with regard to these things. And during this time, when I was doing that, one of the things I decided to do was to look back at my own my biography, the things that I had done within my life. And I was asking myself, the value that I had gained from these experiences. And like most people in life, we've done good things, we've done wrong things, we've done things we could have done better. And we've, the things perhaps I should not have done at all. But one thing I can say when I look back on it, what was very important for me was the ability to think, well, I've learned from that experience. I was able to learn from that experience, and I was able to move on. And I had this, I thought about the age of this person that was speaking to me, that was vitriolic in what they were conveying to me and the way it was expressed to me. And I thought to myself, where was I at that age? Well, just at 19, I mean, I put a lot of training in this, and I don't want to underestimate it. And sometimes I look back and I think perhaps I'd done it too early at an age. But at 19, I won the senior British kickboxing title in London over 5 rounds. And I don't know if you've ever done a sport like that, or just punched or kicked the bag. And when you've done it for a couple of rounds, you suddenly realize what it takes out of you. But when somebody's doing it back to you as well at the same time, and you're having to move in this particular way, it does take an awful lot out. There's a real commitment to training. I had my last fight in Miami in 1987, which was a great fight, a great experience. I ended up working for Mr. Marriott at the Marriott Hotels. Had a great experience with him, running him around on the east coast of America. Came back, I took a degree in economics in Westminster University, passed that, became a chartered accountant, and I ran a business for 25 years, successfully selling that business. And I could have laid back at that age of 55. I could have laid back and just decided to do nothing else with my life. I just said, okay, well, I can retire now. And one of the reasons why I decided not to do that, because to me, it's all about a state of mind. When I talked earlier about reprogramming your mind and having the right mental attitude or approach to life. I could have chosen to put on my slippers, to kick back and to do absolutely nothing. And I think this is something in your life, and maybe the older ones that are here will understand this more. There's something about that. If you're doing that, you're almost, you put yourself in that state of mind whereby you're saying to yourself, well, I am giving up, and I'm preparing myself for this next depart, this mortal soul that I enjoy at this moment in time. So the question was, I proposed to myself, was that, what was this person saying to me? And the irony of this situation is that they were obviously following me and what I was putting out there, which was a bit of an irony in itself. And I have to say that I believe I've made the right decision by continuing to move forward and learn something else and start this pain point coach, which has been a passion for me all my life, which is, I think myself, is what my life has been about, which is about finding joy and fun in what I do and executing something to the best of my ability. And that means constantly retraining and reprogramming my subconscious mind. So I learn new routines that serve me constantly every day. And that's something I've done every day. So when it comes to social media, you can get this negative aspect to it. So the question is that what is social media to us, and how should we use social media to our best ability? For me, I have most things that we'd associate with running a business. I have a website, I have a social media presence. I have people where they can contact me through several sources, whether that's through LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I have quite a few that's on there. What is it and what's it meant to do? Well, for me, the way I've looked at it is it's a bit like a shop window. And people may browse your shop window, but the inevitability is some of them will come in and some of them will not choose to come in. Some will like your goods, some of them will like your wear, and some people will step in forward and want to make contact for you. And I don't, from my point of view, with the negative feedback, I came to the conclusion that I was doing and receiving what social media is meant to do. It opened the door. Unfortunately, the person that stepped through that particular door at that point in time may have had their own reason, perhaps, well, obviously had their own reason. There may have been issues that they were experiencing themselves as an individual, as a young person. Maybe social media hadn't been kind to them. I don't know. But obviously what I was putting out was gaining a response. And I think that's the thing about getting a response, whether it's negative or positive. Because it's so easy, isn't it, in a forum such as this? And I think we need to be mindful on this, is that it takes time to put posts out on social media. It takes time to convey what it is, the message that you want to go out there. But if your message is only going to the people that constantly like it and in your group or whatever, and it's only serving those particular people, the question has to be is the social media really doing what it needs to do, which is engage an audience? And when it engages the audience, the feedback you receive, whether that's negative or positive, is important, because you can then ask the questions that I had to ask in my social media journey and questions I asked about my life with regards to, does it support me in what I want to do, in the journey that I am at this moment in time? I came to the conclusion that it did. And that if somebody's responding to my social media now, whether that's negative or positive, then the social media is doing what it needs to do. And lastly, when it comes to thriving on your social media, one of the things that I take readily from social media is this. Most of us will book hotels and holidays through social media. In fact, we probably all do that now. We're going away, we'll book a holiday. And what that's indicative, it tells you a price point that people are willing to commit to on social media, whether that's £1,500 to £3,000, whatever it is, it gives you an indication of price point. And also what it does is this, that when you look at holidays or motels or whatever it is that you're going to book on, what you normally do is then you look at the feedback from that you see, the reviews that people get on their holiday accommodation. That's what you're looking at in which to make a decision. So what that's indicative for me, how it helps me is this. It gives me an idea of price points at which people will begin to engage with me. And secondly, I think it's important to have a lot of reviews on there on your website so people can come and look at what it is that you have to offer and know that they're not the only person that are making this journey. Others have trusted in your product or your service, gone to that journey and gone with you because they can then see the reviews. So in summary, what I'm saying to you guys is this, is that if you're getting feedback, whether that's good or bad, your social media is doing what it needs to do. That the price point that people buy on, you get an indication on it by what people buy for the holidays. And I think that's a great indicator because you're doing it, it means other people are willing to do it. And thirdly, the tertiary reason would be is that if you've got good reviews on there about your product and service, people, you're creating that trust element. And I think that's very, very important. So guys, I hope it's been helpful with regards to what I shared and my journey of social media and using IT. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, John. Fantastic presentation. Thank you. Let me, before I introduce our next speaker, let me introduce you to our special guests today, which is Anshu Tiwari, who is the founder of the Global Speaker Talk Group, which she started 7 months ago, and she's growing it up. And this is one of the summits that is with her backing. And welcome to Andrea, who is joined us from Bucharest in Romania. And Andrea would like to say a few words to us. So Andrea, over to you, please. We can't hear you for some reason, Andrea.
Yeah.
And now we can hear you.
I figured that out. Hello everybody. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity to be in front of you, to be on the stage with you, all grand names and grand spirits. And thank you to you, Maria Dorota, for being the amazing host that you are for yesterday and today as well. And yeah, this is an incredible opportunity for me. So as Maria said, I'm Andrea. I'm part of Global Speakers Talk. I'm part of it since the beginning, since we started in November, and we grow since then, and we plan to grow even further. I am so deeply touched and honored to speak with you because this topic is so important, importantly important. Yeah, I want to start by speaking about who we are as a Global Speakers Talk. We are a born baby startup, international company who is organizing online events like this one, like this summit. Every month we have a particular theme for our summits. And in this way, we are reaching further and further audiences. We are growing the voices. We are growing the spirits. We are connecting. We are building relationship and we are building trust. So we as a powerful community, growing and growing, we believe in our core that by raising each and every single of the voices that we are touched by, we are raising stories, and we believe that stories of voices need to be heard, because in your ability to tell your voice, to raise your voice, to tell your story, you can shape and connect the world. You you cannot even picture what you can inspire and motivate another person around the world. So we now, through social media, since the beginning of the pandemic, we are more open than ever, more connected than ever, more alive than ever because before the pandemic, we we were each and every one of us was in our bubble, our country, our cities, our nations, our cultures, and we were some kind um, uniquely divided. Now we are uniquely connected, and that is an immense and huge part on our evolutions as a spirit. So, what I want to do and to talk about now is about giving a tribute to all the speakers who were yesterday, because I was so influenced by you and I was so amazed what you are talking, each and every single one of you. And I want to highlight some key points from everybody. If you may allow, I will read a couple of quotes that remained with me, if that is okay. Okay, thank you very much. So my key points to every speaker who was here on the stage yesterday, so beautiful presented. First of all, was Anju with her energy boost that was super fantastic, was very powerful and very engaging. I mean, I looked at everyone who was here. Everybody got up, and that is fantastic because the movements in our body makes the movement of our idea, and the ideas are growing and growing. Uh, from each and every one of you who spoke yesterday, I have learned valuable content and even have noted key points about the social media. So first of all was Frankie Kington, very well, a very professional presentation about social media and about Facebook in particular. I liked what Frankie said, that all over social media, all over internet, your reputation is on the line. So be nice and be kind to each other. Yeah. Next was Lisa Marie. Was Lisa had an amazing journey and an amazing story, and she grew up so beautifully, and she was so engaged with anybody, and she really practiced what she learned. From her, I learned so many tools and so many apps to use. And thank you, Maria, for that. Lisa Marie was wonderful. And the quote from you is, "Kill the fear and do it anyway." Was awesome. Thank you so much. Next one was Mr. Geoffrey Prince, and from you, I resonated with, in social media, we are building relationship in order to build trust, because relationship are built on trust. Uh, After all, we are here, all of us are here in order to connect, make a relationship, and to sell our energy, because energy are alike. My energy is connected to energy. If it's something off, we don't connect. But ultimately, this is it. Next one was Mira. Oh, oh my God, about Mira, I thought I thought from her that we all are miracles and we all are energies, and we are talking to energy with energy, because our words are energy. And yeah, we need to connect by energy. The feelings in me are the feelings in you. And lastly, but not least, Sir Stewart Bradley. From him, I learned the history of social media, extremely professional presented, and I liked every single of details that he offered. I mean, it was a pool of wisdom that he shared. I made an immense pool of notes in my notebook. But what he said, one line that stood with me was that he was influencing us um, against normal advices that we should mix business with pleasure, because this is the only way that we could revenue our energy. We could enlarge our energy into the world, and ultimately, in this way, we could influence the world, because this is our ultimate goal. Nowadays, after the pandemic, because the pandemic will be over someday, this is the future. And the energy is more mainstream now. The world energy is more mainstream. And yeah, we have to get out from the old paradigm that money is selling. No, money is not selling. Money is not buying anything. And energy is selling, and energy is buying. So that was my key points from everybody. I want to thank once again for this incredible opportunity, and to thank the speakers from yesterday, and to thank the speaker from today, because I know that they will be awesome. And I thank you, John Bullock, because you had an amazing story, and you are an amazing person. And thank you very much, because I am here to be able to learn from all of you.
Thank you, Andrea. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. So now let me introduce you to Chris Burgess, who is an amazing healer, a person who can help you to relieve stress, fear, and pain in less than an hour. Chris is a husband, a father of 6 amazing children, and a godfather to I don't know how many children, but he is absolute champion in everything that he does. Chris, over to you.
Yeah, it's an amazing introduction. Yeah, I've got 6 kids, 7 grandkids, and 3 great grandchildren. The eldest great grandchild is 14 now. So you see the same pattern with people, and it's the same energy as the young lady just said before. The energy surround us, use it correctly. To give you a history of me, I never met my father till I was 6, because he was sent to India in the army during the Second World War. So really I brought myself up. Now, I can always remember as a child, about 2 and a half, people were speaking nasty to people. And I thought, why are they being so horrible? Then one of my other uncles, which they were sending him to Africa to fight, and he had a tin helmet. And the tin helmet was about this big, you know, and I'm a little kid. So he said, you can have this tin helmet stuck on my head. So I'm driving a Jeep. In other words, I've got my legs under a mat, and I'm doing this like with the hat on. It fell over and cut me. I've still got the scar, cut me hair. So my mother took the helmet off me, and she said, that's it. She said, I'm taking that. She said, I'm going to throw it down the toilet. So I said, okay. So the next day, I remember going in and looking down the toilet, because I've always analysed things, and the hole in the toilet is about this big, and the hat was that big. I thought, how did my mother get that hat down that little hole? So even as a child, I was sort of analytical. Then I was doing martial arts when I was about 10. Then when I went to work as an electronic engineer. You know, you obviously an apprentice, and that is working on energy, magnetic energy, electric energy, so on and so forth, resistance, a lot. So again, I'm analysing what's going on. As a point of interest to me, because I couldn't understand this, when I was working on a TV, this is 1957, right? Normally the TVs had the fuses across the top of the thing, and in them days you pull this blooming big thing out of a box and worked on it. So to work on it, to get at the components, you've got to chain it over. So me not thinking, yeah, that's normal, just chain the chassis over, chained it over, and they put the fuses underneath, right? So I got what was called stuck to the TV. So I'm like that, can't blooming move, right, rigid. And then the fuse blew, and it threw me right across the room and into the wall, right? And I'm thinking, what's that smell? What's that smell? And what it did, it burnt the end on my finger, right, which has still got a scar now, like in a funny, little bit of funny shape. Then I discovered that the whole workshop, where there was about 50 people working in this in them days, had gone off. And when he went down into the basements, it had blown the 65 amp fuse in the basements. So theoretically, I should have been dead, because normally if you get a really good shock, it's 13 amps. That's all it's fed through. I blew the blooming lot. So lucky to be here. So that made me analytical and critical, and looking at electronics, looking at radiations principles, the lot. Then in my 20s, early 20s, went around all the spiritual churches, because I thought, this is energy. So I went around all the churches and looking at what they were doing. And this first church I worked, what this guy turned to me is, you're a healer. And me being about 20 odd, I thought, yeah, what's he on about? You know. So then I joined the club. They have like a spiritual circle where they try and bring you up a lot. So he said, you can go out of an evening and heal people while you're out of a night. I said, okay, I'll give that a go. So I was going out and getting these blobs out of this slimy pit, horrible black pit, and getting them on a bench and talking to them, whatever I was doing. And it would turn into women. But there was always somebody another woman trying to drag them back into the blinking pit. So I did that for a while. And I went back to the guy who was running the circle, another was the head trainer, if you like. And I said, this is horrible, this. What should I do? And he said, next time you're out, right, you go out there and you ask, what should you do? I said, okay, fine. That was all he gave me. So I went out the following night, and I went in, and there was this shimmering being sitting in a wing-back chair, no gender, but you know, like in a nightclub, you've got these little silvered balls where they've got glass on, and he was like that, or she was like that, I don't know. So I said, I've been told to come and ask what I should do. And this being said, you know what to do. And I said, well, that's a good answer. And I said, yeah, I know what to do. I'm not doing it anymore. So about 15 years later, I'm in a bookshop, and I'm looking through obviously aesthetic or aesthetic or whatever thing you call it thing. And there's a nun there who's written a book. And in the book are these exactly the same blobs as I was getting out of this pit. So I just went bing. So it was obviously at a young age of 20 odd, it must have frightened the socks off me. So I just closed it down. So I carried on doing things. Now in Chinese medicine, which I do a lot of now, there's a thing called Shen. And there's, if you like, spirits that can go out and walk about and do this and everything else. So actually that was an equivalent to that. So it's every energy thing set up. So I started studying Qigong probably in about 1980, around about that. I was already doing martial arts, which is akin to it. Tai Chi is a byproduct of Qigong, but that's predominantly was developed as a martial art years ago. Now, the more I got into the Qigong, the more I found that I could heal people by sort of touching them on the right points for acupressure. Obviously, you got loads of them. Listen to them, what they were saying about everything else and doing that. But I was doing this like a hobby, because I started my own business in 1970, and I run it till 1998. And it was electronics business, and I thought, nah, I'll do something else. So I then started to do this on full-time basis. In other words, put more time into that. So everybody's got an aura around them of energy. Some of it's slightly depleted. Some of it's almost bloody non-existent because they're being overwhelmed by other people saying, oh, you're not good, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And not sound advice, because they don't give you the advice to do it. So predominantly, it's everybody's got this energy. Everybody's got the ability, if shown the techniques, to use it for the benefit of other people as well as themselves. So because obviously due to the whole history of what I've been doing for donkey's years, it'd probably be, I could probably talk for about 2 hours and tell you the step by step from when it was 2.5 or 2 upwards. Well, I thought rather than that, I'll demonstrate something to everybody here that they can all do. In Chinese medicine, you've got what they call 3 danshens. Danshen means pool of energy or source of energy. You've got this one here, which is your brain, right? And obviously they call this the third eye as well in other aesthetic things. And or yin tang is the name in Chinese. And that goes right into the pineal gland, which sorts lots, it's only the size of that pineal gland, which sorts a lot of problems out. Then here you've got your heart, which is your emotional center, dantian. And down there below your navel, about 3 inches below you, you've got your gut, lower dantian. So upper dantian, middle dantian, lower dantian. Dantian means center of energy, in other words, where it takes it in for the purpose. Now, what happens when people are stressed or they've got problems? This thing's going, you know, with this pandemic on we've got now, oh, but this yap on the telly, not doing anybody any good. So this is taking it in. Then the emotion cuts in. What if I get it? What if my children get it? What if this happens? What if that happens? And it loops and loops and loops. If you can drop it to lower dantian, right, this gut thing, people said, I had this gut feeling. They're quite correct, because there's a fellow called Hippocrates 2,500 years ago, and he was the founder of modern medicine. And he said then the major ailments stem from the gut. They're just getting around to believing that now. So it's good. So if it's okay with all the people here, if I give you this method of taking away the horrible problems, right, or anything that's bugging it at this moment in time, is that okay for me to do that? Okay?
Yeah.
Hands up if it's okay. Great. Okay. Well, for this one, what you do is you close your eyes. I'll go through it in a second. And the reason you close your eyes is because then you've got no distraction. And this thing, this inner eye, if you like, this is a chakra in Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine, which is the Indian stuff. Here is a very important piece of kit. So you close your eyes. You might visualize a color. It doesn't really matter. So what you do is close your eyes, and then you go inwards then instead of externally. So it's a very simple technique, and it works. So if you all close your eyes now. Now what I'd like to do now is just breathe into 7 and breathe out to 5. And as you breathe in, you get this beautiful, beautiful light entering from the top of your head. And as you breathe out all the rubbish, breathe out through your nose or breathe out from your mouth. So you breathe in to 7 and you breathe out to 5. And you breathe in to 7 and you breathe out to 5. And you put your hands anywhere you need to be relaxed. It could be on your thighs, on the side of the chair, on the desk. Feet firmly on the floor. Breathe in, breathe out. Now what I'd like you to do now is imagine a time, could be years ago, could be last week, could be last month, but a time when you were really, really happy, relaxed. It could be a holiday where you're at the beach, or it could be a foreign country, or It could be just a forest or a beach by you, but a time when you were really, really relaxed and happy, content. Now, I'd like you to get that picture in your mind now, make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And any sounds, melodies, tunes, make them beautiful, more melodic, absolutely fantastic. Make them stronger and stronger and stronger. Any sights, any visions, anything at all, make them really, really bright, really relaxing and calm. But that feeling of peace, calm and relaxation and happiness, make that bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger now. Make it really bright. Make your head full of this absolutely wonderful, carefree, happy time you had. And when you get that picture really, really strong now, I want you to drop it down from your head, through your throat, and into your heart. And now I'd like you to make the sounds more melodious, beautiful. The vision, the sight, absolutely lovely. The colors, overwhelming, bright, lovely colors. The sounds, lovely again, stronger and stronger. The feeling, that feeling, make it stronger and stronger again. I'll make it really bigger now. And again, make the sounds stronger and stronger. The colors brighter and brighter again now. But that feeling, mostly that feeling of relaxation and happiness, make that bigger and bigger and bigger now, really strong. Now go back to the picture again in your heart and make the picture beautiful. Oh, exotic. The sounds, fantastic. Make them stronger and stronger and stronger again. Any pictures, children, sand, buildings, make that really, really, really overwhelming. The colors brighter and brighter and brighter now. Now again, go back and watch the colors. Make them brighter and brighter. But that feeling, that overwhelming feeling of content, relaxation and happiness, make that stronger and stronger again now. Any sounds out of this world now, beautiful sounds, melodies, tunes, singing, and make them really, really strong again. Now I want you to hold that feeling in your heart for just for a minute now. I'll just be quiet for a minute and then we'll come back and go again and finish this off absolutely completely, absolutely fine. So quiet now for a minute and hold that picture in your heart and the sounds and any voices, hold them in your heart. I would like you to take that picture now and drop it down from your heart, right down to 3 inches below your navel. This beautiful lower dantian, this gut brain, this fantastic brain, this super conscious brain, this amazing brain. Now I'd like you to get that picture again, your picture, and make it bigger and brighter, really overwhelming in brightness. All the colors, absolutely fantastic. Make them brighter and brighter and brighter. The sounds, beautiful, angelic, fantastic. feeling now, make that feeling of content, relaxation and happiness, make it stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger again. Make the colors brighter and brighter now. Make the pictures and the sounds absolutely, absolutely out of this world. Heavenly, fantastic, energetic, the most energetic thing you've felt. Now again, now, go back to that feeling of happiness and contentment. Make that stronger and stronger now. And the colors now are out of this world. Beautiful. The sounds, feelings, music, chatter, stronger and stronger and stronger now. Now you make the overall picture in your gut now, your lower down chin, so magnificent. It fills the whole of your body with peace, calm, and relaxation, but energizing all the meridians of your body from the top of your head to the soles of your feet and the end of your fingers, filling your body with beautiful, beautiful, energetic, relaxing energy now. Now, if you just continue breathing for another half minute, and then I'll suggest then that you come back. So just breathe in to 7, breathe out to 5. Keep that picture and everything in your gut. Beautiful. Just keep breathing and then breathing out in relaxation. Any residue of rubbish you had will just go out of the out breath, down into the ground, finished, gone. So now I'd like you to, in your own time, just relax. And as I count now, again in your own time, but I'll count just to help. I'll count down from 9 to 1. And when we get to 1, you'll be back in this room, this Zoom. So 9, feeling more and more relaxed. 8, 7, doubling that relaxation, calmness. 7, 6, more and more relaxed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back in the room, relaxed and calm. I timed that on this, you see, that's what was beeping. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Wonderful.
Yeah, so the reason I did that is because it's easy to talk about a thing. It's easy to talk about you. I mean, obviously my history with all the grandkids and this kids, and messing around I've had with doctors, GPs, specialists, a lot, with different children, etc., which also drive you crackers because they just miss things, which is sad. But that's what happens in life because they specialize in doing that. And if it doesn't carry on with them, they think, oh, leave it, or hopefully refer you to a specialist who's good. So, and there are some really good ones out there. So the reason I did that is that's something you can all take away with you now. So anytime you're really cheesed off with what's going on around you, go back to that lovely, happy time, breathe into 7 and breathe out, and then get the picture, make it bigger, and then make it bigger again, and make it bigger again, and then power of 3, drop it down here, heart, bigger again, and down to your gut. And the gut, once the gut gets it, you go, yeah, what was it worrying about? And then you can do something about it positively instead of letting it drag you down. It's just a stress-related thing anyway, and at this moment in time, well, an example, there's a Zoom that goes on for people who've got lost, limbs. And 3 weeks ago, there was a lady there and they'd taken a leg off and she had, phantom limb pain. And she'd had it for a while, of course. And it took me probably about 15 minutes to show her how to shift it. Now, the lad who runs the thing, he got on back on and said, oh, she was on this week, and she said, she still hasn't got any pain now, so it's gone. So what you do is try and do a technique where the problem doesn't come back. So sorry for gabbing over me time by a minute, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was brilliant. I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you so much. Wonderful, and so much already that we can learn from our speakers so far. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our speaker number 3, who is Beat Muller. Beat is a very interesting person. He lives on his own, but he is so energetic. He has got so much love to all other people, and he is still excited with the business that he is doing. He is exciting more people into it, and his energy is going to be visible here today. So over to you, Beat. Please unmute yourself, and I will share the screen so you can
Okay.
share your knowledge.
Okay. Okay. Anyhow, I will introduce myself. All right. Okay. Before that, okay. I will say thank you so much for coming on here. And I'm really pleased that I can do this. Thank you to Anshu and Maria for organizing it, because I didn't even know that I was on it when I saw the announcement. Okay. A little bit about myself. I'm 48 years ago, married to an English, a Stokie lass, and I tried to live in Switzerland. I had a job in Switzerland as a foreman substitute, but it didn't work out because I had to leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning, came back at 6 o'clock at night, and she didn't see me all day. That wasn't a very good start. Anyhow, and I came back to England, and I had a few jobs. I did precision engineering, and I went to some companies here and did small places. Today, KMF is a small one, then it's now a very large company in Stoke, but did not accept me. Even the Swiss company did not accept me, so I found some employment until the late 70s. I was made redundant and started going into selling. And then I did 10 years in life and investment. And by 1990, I had to look after my disabled wife. She was in a wheelchair, and actually my dad found it difficult to marry her because she had MS when I married her. But there we are. I never regret coming to the UK. I love it here. I love it here. Even so, I like Switzerland. I got my Swiss flag out, but never mind. So, yes. And then I started with networking in the 90s. With few companies, one company I loved, and then they go down as funny. They didn't manage to stay alive. That happens. Okay. And so I learned through personal development an awful lot. Whenever I rang Switzerland, my mom was given to me through my dad. I said, here's your mom, but never spoke with me. But through the development, I learned to make peace with my dad, which was amazing. I'm 74 now. But I'll tell you a story, which is incredible, which I learned last week. A gentleman who was 95, and he was encouraged to write a book. And he wrote his first book, 95. Then he wrote 2 more books till he was 101. And he said that was my best 90s. So you still can do something when you're older. So, okay. Okay, on the first, I made it, I really enjoyed the presentation yesterday, but this is like handwritten stuff. And I thought I'll do that like this. Okay. Network marketing. Okay. Well, I underline work. It is really work, which is important. Work is important. And what is happening is like a shift, you know what I mean, from working through in the homes. who are our commodities, who are our potential, and it's actually people. People are so important in our life. How can we make a difference to the people? And that's what I really love to do. But in general terms, I don't know whether you heard this expression 40, 40, 40. People work 40 hours a week for 40 years and then they retire at 40%. Yeah. And that's not always the very best thing to do, isn't it? And but so shift is happening. More and more people are working from home, and that's where social media comes into it. More opportunities, more financial incentives. And the interesting thing is like you're doing it part-time, you know, and by the way, this is a challenge for some people, but really a very good challenge, part-time versus full-time. But the benefit in long term in good is freedom, believe me. I know a guy, an English footballer who was in the Premier League, and when he been in playing for a while, suddenly had an accident, he broke his foot, and he was just about to sign up another contract with a club, and they said to him, well, we can just give you 50%. Now, many people, as you know, they live up to their incomes. And so they buy the houses on the maximum they can borrow for a house, living on the incomes, and that happened to him. He became so frustrated with his partner. He had to look out for something. And today, 4 or 5 years later, he is now able to fly business class and different things. He's a massive inspiration to myself, and that happened to him. So that's incredible. Now, that is from part-time to freedom. Okay, and it can happen but it is work. Work is so important because it is, and that's where many people fail to understand it. It doesn't happen just by quick stuff. No, it doesn't. Okay, maybe you can show me the second slide, please. Okay. I'm sure some of you have heard of the quadrant, this cash flow quadrant, which has been introduced by Robert Kiyosaki, an amazing guy who I met in Newcastle some years ago. And he put that together. And it's basically speaking, if you're on the left-hand side, an employee, or if you're self-employed, either you are employed, and that's where your time is spent. And virtually 90 to 95% or 90% of the people are in this category. Either you own your business or the business owns you. And there we are. When that happens, you know what I mean? There are limitations. And especially when you're employed. But I do not disagree that it's good to have a job on the outset so you can get up and do something. I do not disagree that, because we have to be thankful for people who take on employees, really, because believe me, every big company who has employees, they have a challenge. They have a challenge to maintain it. And names like Amazon, Netflix, they had a challenge when they started. Amazon sold books, and then they were taken to the court by the big bookseller in America when they made some statement, but they had to ride it through. Richard Branson had a challenge with British Airways. Every big business have massive challenges, and sometimes people don't realize they had to endure it. They had to go through it and make the best of it. And so there we are. But then we can actually transfer, if you go to the red arrows, as a business, we become a business owner, whereby you have a bit more control of what you're doing and helping other people in a successful way, using your own skill and your own ambition and your own desire with a big why. That's it, which is very, very important, and super, super important to have a big why. And as a result of it, later on, you then have the possibility whereby you become an investor, where you can earn while you sleep, Okay, so that's the quadrant. Okay, and then we can go to the streets of the traditional business. Now, actually, I'll make some comment on this one because in my imagination, I chose the school system, okay, but also I will elaborate on something in addition to that. But when you have the triangle of a school, yeah, you have people who support the school's business, like cleaners and employees in the office, etc. Then you have teachers, and you have middle school teachers and high school teachers, specialist teachers, and they're all on different levels, right? But interestingly, you have just one or two person who actually run the whole system, whole school, headmaster, headmistress, and it is the ambition of some to become headmaster, headmistress. Why? Why? Because of course they have more responsibilities, but they have more salary. They have a bigger salary. They have more benefits. They have more for their lives to share with other people afterwards, to make more for themselves. So, but it's not very easy for everybody to come to that level. So we have dedicated teachers who would like it, but what chance do they have to become a headmaster, headmistress? What chance do they have to come to that level? Very little. Actually, sometimes never ever. I think even more often than not. And interestingly, when I mentioned earlier on 40, 40, 40, I do know that they have good holidays, but believe me, in the holidays, they have even important meetings to learn more about and to improve their teaching and etc. So it's not all holidays, but during the school session, sometimes it's not 40, 40, 40, it's sometimes even 60 hours or more. So it's 60, 40, 40, whatever, so. And we have found in the networking that teachers are very good caliber. They have a potential incredible to improve themselves. So yes, and now I'm coming to the real deal. Okay, the next slide, please. Yeah, now that's where even work is still relevant. Work is still relevant. We have on the bottom put there Johnny, a teacher, and because I use the school as example, and so he goes to the car wash and meets kind of a Jim, and Jim asks him a question how he is with teaching, what does he like to do, about what does he like to do in the future, and he kind of indicates that he's not too happy about it. By the way, many there are teachers who have suicidal experience. They don't want to go to teach anymore. That happens in an incredible way. Even so, through the pandemic, some had to work only from home and things like this. So there we are. Jim asked him very good question. He asked him very good question to inspire him to do something different. He makes him think. And so, like I said earlier on, I want to say something about the previous one. When people have a job or employment, they have benefits. But when they have their own business, and which I meant to say earlier on about traditional business, you cannot run a business on 100, 200 pounds a month. It's very impossible. If you have a shop, you can't run it on that. You need thousands of pounds to stocks and etc. And it takes time to recover everything you invested. I think, I'm sure John and Jeffrey, they do know all that. They have experienced it. I've never experienced it, but you have to invest and wait for the return in a few years later. Okay, if the business grows like he sold it, that's a very good idea. You know what I mean? And actually, Jeffrey said yesterday that you can get better by learning it. You can improve yourself. You know what I mean? The salespeople improve that. I like that. You know what I mean? Because of statistics. And so when you are working this type of business, whereby you helping other people to improve themselves, where you give the people the opportunity to work part-time and do something with a higher leverage. And something which happened to me, and this really is exciting to me. I've been doing it for a while now. And I wasn't as successful, but I believe it. And 4 or 5 weeks ago, I had the wonderful chance to introduce a good friend of mine. And believe me, now what I'm telling you now is incredible. He has taken the bull by the horn. He has increased his team. He has created a team beyond. And I said to him when I introduced him, I don't mind if you exceed me in rank. And he has done that incredibly. So the reason I bring that up is people think, well, it's only the people on the top make it, believe it or not. There are people who, when they put the action in, when they do that, what's required to achieve things, it can happen. And so that happened locally in my town, which is incredible. I still cannot believe it happens. And so it depends what effort and how we do it. So everybody has the same chance to achieve things if they really, really want to. And he has got 5 children, a big wife, and it's incredible. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say to this, the real deal. And something on that is also very important. We need to have a big why and how sometimes people want to do it quick, then we can help them find out with statistics what they need to do to achieve it. But more importantly, in networking, we have to think long term. And if somebody is not willing to do 18 months, because like every business, it takes even longer to recoup what you invest in. Here, it is possible to get hold of it, what you have put in. And therefore, we have a disclaimer. Nothing is guaranteed. If you go to a gym and pay your due on a gym and then stop going, you can't blame the gym because you're not getting better physically, because you have to put action in. So it's the same thing. Okay. It takes effort and time, discipline, and being hungry and coachable. You don't have to be good at everything. Understand the rule of the game. 80% is psychology, 20% is skill. It takes time, but the benefit is you can pay less tax. And now something interesting which is happening to me now. I didn't realize it's all about social media, but I really love it because I'm doing Instagram, and we had interesting stories about Lisa yesterday with Instagram and Facebook. Some fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And so I'm coming to my last slide. This is commission. Okay. Now, yet again, it's still work, but the commission payout today is amazing. It's quite amazing. In 2020, 49.4 billion has been paid out worldwide. Or if you break it down into a month, 4.811 billion. Or if you take it into an hour, 5.63 million. Or if you break it down into a minute. And I've been talking more than 1 minute. So while I was talking to you, it more than several times, 93,000 has been paid out to people. And the amazing thing is the world is changing and it's growing. It's growing at around 14% every year. And so by 2027, it can be $151 billion. It's amazing. And over 86 million will be working whenever, wherever. And that is the amazing thing is now, in conclusion, I want to say this. You can actually check it out on businessforhome.org. But also I encourage people to read books, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Or another book came out through him, which is kind of a bit updated to today's standard, because Napoleon Hill wrote a book in the 30s. It's got another one, Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, which is sort of bringing a bit up to date. Or How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that's an incredible book too. But one thing which I'll say is, not last but not least, believe me or not, if you're reading from you want to listen to the wisest man ever lived in the Proverbs in the Bible, read him. He has so many good short sentences, verses which help people to do the right thing. And the company I'm connected with is do the right thing all the time, which is important. That's me in one way. I don't know, I hope I did the best thing I could do, and I love it. I'm excited. And to conclude it, I write every day what I do the night before, hopefully, time myself out, and I have to correct it sometimes, but that helps me to be on track. Also, I am have been encouraged to write my goals out every day twice. And I change it a little bit, one or two, the main one are the same. And believe me, that is a great help when you do this. So I'm really, really excited to do this. It's the first time I ever did something like this. I don't know how I came over, but I love it. And totally finally, if you have how shall I put it? There's a book called Gung Hu, which I read a long time ago. The reason why I mention it, because it's when companies need to work, the top people need to work with the people below, and when they have challenges. And that book is written in a funny way. I do remember reading one chapter to my late wife, and she just slapped her head off. So it's an interesting book, Gung Hu.
Could you put the title in the chat, please, later?
Yeah. By Ken Blanchard. Okay, I will do that. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vince. That was brilliant. Thank you. Wonderful. Wow. What education we are getting here today. Our next speaker is Michael Richardson. We don't know much about Michael. He is quite secretive, so he's going to tell us about himself right now. Michael, over to you. Can you unmute yourself?
Nice one, Maria. Yeah, you can hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Super. It's 20 minutes.
Yes.
All right, start the clock. We wouldn't want to overrun.
And I show you this 5 minutes before the end.
Yeah, I've noticed charming technique though it is, Maria. There is one slight flaw, is that it doesn't make a noise. So I think when speakers are speaking, you're not really looking around for a little bear being waved about. Perhaps if he had a little bell on his paw, something along those lines, that might be a little more effective.
Okay, I will imitate the bell for you.
There's no need. I'll be on time because I've set the clock.
I know. Thank you so much.
How do I share? Oh, do I share my screen then?
Yes, you can share your screen, yes.
Okay, so
just click share screen and it will. Now you need to choose which screen you want to share and click share.
Oh yeah. So can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, nice one. Okay.
Brilliant.
So, Maria, thanks very much for the introduction. And I quite enjoy being a bit of a man of mystery, to be honest with you.
I bet you do.
So just to, what I want to do is just give you a little bit of a background as to my journey so far, really. There's my name, which is one thing that it isn't a mystery, so we all know that. And basically, I'm delighted to have a thirst for knowledge, and I'm on a journey of self-discovery, which we all are, of course, yeah? I need to get that into big. Here we are. Is that better? Can you see that? So I've got 20 minutes, now 18. Can you still hear me?
Yes, you're good, Michael. You're coming through.
Oh, nice one. Thanks, man. Thanks for the shout. I want to just cover in those 20 minutes, now 18. My goal in life, my experience of life so far, my reinvention, and the part that social media has played in that and continues to play in that. And I also just wanted to remind you all the importance of keeping somebody motivated is to praise them in public and to criticize in private. So bear that in mind if you're putting any comments on the chat, all right? Just a quick warning for you before I start the presentation that it does contain adult themes with some scenes of partial nudity. So is everyone okay with that? If you're not okay with that, you'll need to exit the presentation at this time because I'll be proceeding with the presentation right now. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Righto, jolly good. And so this is a quote that really sort of flicks my switch, gets me going. This is what I'm into. And I share this with you. Obviously, you can read, you can all see that. And something that I've been reflecting on a lot lately is that what you perceive, the value that you place on what you have is what brings the joy into your life. And I know that John has certainly commented during his presentation and others that what you're trying to do, really your goal in life is to bring joy and happiness into your life. And that really is my focus of life now. And that seems to me to be about appreciating what is around me, appreciating the smaller things in life and showing gratitude for them. There's so much beauty around us in this universe. And it's such an honor to be a part of that. It's really, really quite humbling. And so to move on to my life experience so far, there's more to come, probably. Great success to start with. I'm over 40 now, as I've been invited to do this presentation as part of the summit about reinventing yourself over 40 using social media. I'm still a little baffled actually as to why I was invited to do that. On the basis I have no idea how anyone knew I was over 40. I have a very strict skincare regime, and surely by eye, it's mildly farcical to think that I'd be over 40. So I started off in life doing things, the normal things that we do in this country, our culture. You go to school, you learn stuff, you have your education, and then the expectation, certainly when I was growing up anyway, the expectation was that from there, through that same route, through that same channel, I would be then going to university for further education, and from there on to what would be considered a successful job and other things that come with that. So that aspect of things, you could say, or I would say, I would turn around and look back at that now and I would say that was a great success. I had the things that I was expected to achieve. This is the key thing that really sort of, in the end, baffled me, because the expectation of society and the culture that I am part of, was part of, I was about to say, which is quite good, I naturally say I was part of it, was that you educate yourself, go through these channels, you qualify yourself in various different subjects and develop your expertise in various fields. You earn more money, and so you can buy a bigger house, you have a family, you have a nicer car, and these things, the expectation is, will bring you happiness. Now, that wasn't actually the case for me. As I say, you could say that that was a great success. However, to be honest with you, it was a great failure, in the sense that it distanced me from what my own goals and values are. So I was quite misled by that. I then was happy enough to sort of pick up on a new way of life, really, over a period of time, probably, interesting enough, probably at around the age of 40. And after that, I've become successful in my own way, although I don't have any of those trappings of success. Again, the way we measure success in our culture, in this society, is mostly by your economic value, and through very little else, to be perfectly honest. So I have much less money. I don't have a big house. I don't have a nice car, but I am incredibly happy, and I'm delighted that I have progressed to the point where I'm awakening to the values that are important to me. And I've never been happier, and I feel great joy in my life now. So how does this reinvention come about? Warning, this is one of the scenes that features partial nudity. Well, as I say, I started to appreciate the natural things in life that really are just absolutely wonderful to be a part of. The power of the universe, and to someone of my little size, to be relevant in that whole universe is really quite humbling. And you see there, the picture on the left, it's on I think it would be on your, I enjoy my sea swimming. I live just by the sea, and floating in that sea there, vast, vast sea, floating in there, looking up at the blue sky, thinking you're part of this enormous network of energy, the universe, the exchange of energy. You're part of it, a small part, a tiny part, but still a relevant part, is really quite humbling. And it really does make you realize where the important things are. And at that point, you start to revisit your own values, really, your own core beliefs. And I found that this was a massive step for me. I read a lot, I read a lot. I have a thirst for knowledge, well, a passion for learning. And I probably got to the point where I was getting quite confused. You know, I was taking so much in, and there are lots of points of interest. I'm always interested and intrigued by other points of view. And so there's a lot of information coming at me, like there is for all of us. And so to really take a step back from that, I thought, whoa, this is all getting a bit confusing here, Michael. Let's take a step back and just revisit here. What are my core values? What is it that I actually do believe in? And in actual fact, it's nothing particularly new. It was things that I believed in at the very start of my life. There was a lot of things that I needed to unlearn and go back to basics, go back to who I actually am, not what I want to be, is who I want to be. So it was a lot of unlearning was the process, and a lot of getting in touch with those beliefs and values again, and understanding more about myself, who I am, and how I become aware of that and become aware of my role in that whole amazing wide natural universe. And the other photo in here, on the right hand side to me, probably on the right hand side to you, I'm not quite sure, the one with what appears to be a couple of lakes and some birds floating around and a tree. This is one of the things that I find absolute joy in now, great motivation in. And remember, we're talking about reinventing yourself. Yes, of course, social media is part of this. I haven't touched on that so far, but I'm talking about what changed me. And as I say, it was around that 40-year-old mark for me. Now, I'm naturally positive. I don't have to talk to myself and say, well, let's try and put a positive spin on this. Let's analyze it and see what positives have come out of this disaster, or, well, let's not worry, something good will come of it. I naturally am positive, and I find the positives all the time, really. So I'm basically living in a very positive, happy world. And if that's the goal, then at the moment I'm there or thereabouts. You always have to keep that balance. Things change all the time. But another important thing to understand is, of course, you'll have moments, we all have them, where you think, oh, I'm useless at this, I'm useless at that. You know, I wanted to do that, but something's happened and it's made me realize that I'm rubbish at it. When you're not rubbish, of course you're not rubbish. You just need to look at why it is it's not working for you. You know, you can learn, so that's fine. If it's a competence, if it's a thing about competence, then you can learn and get training to understand better what it is you're trying to do. And if it's a mindset thing, which a lot of the time it is, go back to your core values and really give some thought to what you feel makes you feel good. What values make you feel positive, and work around those, work to those. And also what makes you feel negative, and work out how we turn those into positives, or work with them and manage them, so that we're living a largely positive life. To get back to the content of the photo on the right hand side, we had some fairly serious rainfall the other day. This is normally a park on the right hand side, and so that is normally all grass, but there was a lot of rain in a very short space of time, about an hour or so, and we had a couple of little lakes formed in the local park. And the seagulls, obviously, as you can see, those little white things in the picture, the seagulls, a few fluttering around. And so, you know, it's just an example of, instead of thinking, oh, bloody hell, it's raining, I really like it when it's sunny, and oh, now the park's flooded as well, what a disaster. I'm looking at them thinking, well, this is beautiful, actually. This doesn't happen very often. So I went for a walk to the park and stood in a tree and got this photo from the tree, just enjoying that new scene. Now, this is something that I'm a big believer in. At the moment, it's fine, that will change. Of course it will, that's fine. But something that I'm really practicing at the moment is that you get back what you give out. So the happier I am, the happier you are, the more full of joy you are, the more grateful you are, the more you smile, and the more you give out that happiness and joy to others. So they can take on board your energy, and vice versa. Probably they might not, that's their choice, but they can do. You know, there's always a way to find, to open your heart up to being happy and joyful in this world. It isn't always based around money. We need some money, of course we do. And I'm aware that I'm speaking on a global live speakers network. So there are other parts of the world where things will be different. But this is the way things are in my world. And I do believe that this is the way things should be universally, regardless of your culture or your background. You know, indeed, if you look back at ancient cultures, there are plenty of examples there where we would, again, in my world, in my culture, in my life, we could learn a lot of lessons from other countries, from other cultures, about the way we think, we do things. I think we've lost track of what we're doing somewhere along the lines. Oh, I've got 20 seconds left, Maria. So the social media part of it, I'm going to have to run over by a minute. Is that okay? The social media part of it, great success, great failure, great success. Again, it's a circle of change. So I'm learning and changing. The successful bits were the what I've been doing lately with my swim groups, meeting new friends, networking, extending my network, getting into other things as a result of that, the adventuring, adventure swimming, now into diving, looking at shipwrecks, maritime history, underwater castles, that sort of thing, travel. The great failure would be a project I got involved in where I was working as agent for a home services supplier, and that just didn't work for me. Although I was trying to use social media to extend the network in that environment, it didn't work for me because it didn't fit in my core beliefs, my core values. So I felt uncomfortable with it. So I didn't feel confident doing it. And that's obvious, you know, that's what comes across. And so I'm comfortable with learning. And if you keep doing this, this is me posing basically, and why the hell not? I'm the king of the castle. You keep doing this, you can really actually end up, that's the wrong way of putting it. You can really get to the point where you feel like you're on top of things, you know? You're not here to react to the world, you're here to act in the world. You know, this is your role here. You're here for a reason. You're not here to respond to things and get grumpy about things. You're here to be positive things and make a difference, a positive difference. What I've done here is I've swum out. You can see the land behind me. That's going to be my right arm, the direction I'm looking. That's the land behind me. I've swam out from there to where I'm standing. I'm now standing on an underwater castle here. And, you know, I learned that from extending my network in the swimming group. that then learn more about the history of the area, and you find out these things. And it's now something that I'm really into. So I'm now into the adventuring swimming and the diving as well. So there's plenty of shipwrecks around you can go to and all that sort of thing. And that's where I'm at. That's my presentation, which has run over slightly. Apologies, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. It was magnifying. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So let's move over to our next speaker. And this is Debbie Esplin, based in Montreal, Canada. Debbie has a YouTube channel about food and generally about household. And she is just an amazing YouTuber, which she may not agree with, but this is what many people think. So now, Debbie, your stage.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. And I want to thank Anshu and Maria for making this whole two-day speaking event happen. And I also want to thank Andrea because she just does a lot of work holding the group together. And I want to thank everybody who's here. So I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. I found it. And first of all, I'm going to start with a confession. I'm a social media newbie. Before May 2020, the only thing I did was I had my personal page on, or my personal thing on Facebook, and that was it. And I enjoyed it because I could connect with family and friends around the world and reconnect with people that I had lost touch with. So it was wonderful for that reason. And I got to move this bunch of faces out of the way. So in the last year and a month, I've been learning a lot about social media, and I am over 40, I will confess. But it's been really interesting, frustrating at times, but very interesting. And I just want to share a little bit of what I've learned. Well, first of all, can you do social media over 40? I had no interest in doing anything like Instagram or YouTube or anything before I decided to start a YouTube channel. And when I started the channel, I realized I kind of need to get my name out there and get what I'm doing out there. So I started doing social media, and it felt like a jungle at first. Let's see, I'll tell you how it feels at the end of the presentation now. Is it a jungle? What do you think? Should you do social media if you want to build, grow, or maintain your business, service, or brand? Well, as you can see from this picture with all the cell phones, and there could be iPads and computers in there too, if you want to grow or build or maintain a business, and it could be a physical brick and mortar store, it could be an internet-based video and sharing information business like what I have, my opinion is you need to be on social media because the world is connecting in many ways now. Traditional marketing still applies, advertising, doing press releases, running contests and giveaways, offering free courses, getting involved with your local community, having a brick and mortar store where people can just walk in, or having a virtual store like a YouTube channel where people find you and discover what you have to offer. All of these things, they still apply. Just give me a sec while I try to get rid of the faces because they are interfering with me seeing my screen. Networking events, all of these things still apply. But in today's world where we are connecting so much over the internet and over social media, and where the entire world is connecting with the entire world almost, as people have said yesterday, how I think it was Stuart, was how many people are actually have internet access and have some kind of device where they can connect to the internet. It's huge. So social media gives you a way to access a new to access your audience or your customers or your potential customers in another way. And there's a lot of power in that. I mean, as we've seen in the talk so far, there's a lot of different social media platforms. These are just a few. There's a lot more, and there's more coming on board every month, every few months. I'm sure you all know these ones. Maybe you don't know Reddit. Maybe you don't know Quorum or Yumly. Yumly's more food oriented. Snapchat's more something used by people in their teens or early 20s. And your own website is also a social media platform. So there's a lot of places where you can go and decide to have a social media presence. In fact, there's too many. And that's what I'm going to start sharing with you now. So when I started my channel, it didn't look like this. This is, I've changed my homepage a few times on YouTube. This is my YouTube channel. My first video went up May 19, 2020. I had no clue what I was doing. And then I decided I need a Facebook page for my YouTube channel. So then I started my Facebook page, and my original name was Kitchen Sense and Information. I've managed to change it everywhere except on Facebook. Facebook is telling me I can't change my Facebook page name. Oh, well, that's okay. Live and learn. As people have said, learning is really important. This is my Instagram. And these are my 3 main platforms that I'm working now. And why is that? Because I started off doing too many platforms, and I discovered that I was spreading myself too thin and I was exhausted. So originally I was doing 2 videos a week, and I was doing a weekly blog post, and I was doing Pinterest, and I was doing Facebook, and I was doing Instagram, and I was sometimes doing LinkedIn. And then I started doing product kits, because there are some products that I sell as an affiliate marketer where I make a small commission. And it was too much. I spread myself too thin and discovered that it's not necessarily, you can't offer as much value when you're tired. So one of the challenges I've discovered with social media is you kind of need to decide on a focus and then stick with it. So this is what I'm doing now. I try to do 1 video a week on YouTube, and I post the link to Linktree. Facebook and Instagram, I try to do several posts a week related to my video or just related to things around food. Like right now, recently I've been sharing my outdoor garden, just photos I took, just sharing and describing what's going on with my outdoor garden. And occasionally I also will share things around my life that don't have anything to do with food. But one of the things I've learned from some of the Instagram training I've taken is that people actually want to learn more about you, who you are as a person. They don't just want to have the content that you're trying to push because it's part of your business. They want to know you as a person as well. So I don't share personal details, but I'll share things about hobbies or things about that I like for example, maybe things I'm grateful for. So this is now my core, but I started off doing all of this, and yeah, it was too much. Now I share on my website, Pinterest, and LinkedIn when I have something that matches the platform or when I have something that I think it would be a good thing to share there, but it's not my focus. My focus is these top 3. And that's the way the plan is for now, and it could very well change. So how can social media help you? Well, one thing that social media can do is it can get information about what you have to offer out to a wider audience beyond just the people you know. As Lisa Marie said, it's the people you know and then who they know, and when they share, then who they know. And it can just keep rippling out like that. It also makes it easier for potential customers or collaborators to find you, because if you don't have a social media presence, there's a huge number of people out there that will never know you exist, but they might be interested in knowing you exist. It makes it easier for your customers to know more about you. And that's important too, because, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. And it makes it easier for your customers to connect with you or your business or your service. So for example, if I'm looking for a new business or a new service that is going to help me with something, the first thing I do is I go look for a website or a Facebook page. I go look for information. I go look for testimonials. I go to social media and the internet to find out more. And if I don't find anything, chances are I will stop and go to the next person that's offering what I need. So it's really important to have a social media presence in this day and age. But not only that, it also makes it easier for you to learn more about your customers. And if you can learn more about your customers, you can figure out better ways to help them. And if you can do that, then your customers are going to be happier with your service and possibly use it more and talk about it to their friends and recommend you to their friends. So if you're doing all these things on social media, you're going to build trust and you're going to build confidence in your business, in your offer, and you will build faith in your integrity. You'll build faith in your integrity as a business or brand or as a person. And if you can build trust, confidence, and integrity, that's what I call platinum currency. There's nothing better than having people believe that you know what you're doing, that you are honest, that you operate with integrity, and then they will advertise your business for you, even when you're sleeping. So that is something that you can do with social media, and you can do it with traditional marketing means as well, but you reach a smaller audience. With social media, you can reach a much wider audience. So hopefully I've convinced you now that there is value in having a social media presence, but how do you do this? Because it's maybe a jungle, maybe not. I'll give you my opinion at the end. But how do you do it? You make a social media plan. And in your plan, you should have these elements. You should know your business. What is your business? What is it about? And you should know your business type, because there's many kinds of businesses. There's a bicycle shop. There's somebody like me who's teaching you how to cook or sharing tips and information about food. There's somebody like Lisa who's helping parents, with the education of their children. There's somebody like a comedian who might have a YouTube channel, or somebody who's doing a vlog and just sharing what, their life, and on and on. There's many different kinds of types of businesses that could be on social media. So you need to kind of know your type, because it's going to be important later on when you're trying to figure out how to implement your plan. What problems do you solve for people, and what solutions do you offer? Who are your competitors? And it's important to know who your competitors are for several reasons, but one reason is because you can learn from them, especially if they're further along in the learning curve than you are. You shouldn't copy them, but you can look at what they're doing and you can shorten your learning curve, because you learn from them and advance your knowledge at a faster pace. But then you want to differentiate yourself from your competitors by offering something that they don't, or trying to. And then knowing your customers. Who are your customers? And this is important because not every potential customer is on every platform. So if your potential customers, or if your audience are teenagers, that's going to change the platforms that you might want to look at. Or if your potential audience or customers are intellectually oriented and in a knowledge-based kind of sphere, then that's going to change your platform that you choose. Then you might choose LinkedIn, or you might choose Reddit. So knowing what platform your customer's on is really, really important, because you can't be on all the platforms, and you want to be where your customers or your audience are so that you can reach them better. Most people that teach about social media will suggest that you are on 1 to 3 platforms, because it takes work and it takes consistency. So you want to figure out the platforms that are going to work the best for you based on your audience and based on your business type and just based on your own personal preference, because you're doing this for you. Then you need to learn how these platforms work, because every platform is different. Every platform has its own rules, its own culture, its own best practices, and its own search engine optimization strategy. And so you can't learn all the potential platforms at once. You need to focus, choose a couple, 3, maybe maximum 4, and work them. Get really good at those platforms. Then you need to have a content strategy and a marketing strategy. So what does this mean? It means you need to do a lot of research and a lot of learning. And that's something I didn't do in the beginning. I just launched my YouTube channel and I just felt, and I just started on social media and I didn't have a plan and I didn't know what I was doing. But if you can do some research beforehand or as you start, it will help you. Once you've got your research or some research done or started and you've got a basic plan, and I'm going to go back here because this is actually my plan now. It's just a rough draft of one small part of my plan, but some kind of at least feeling of what you're going to do and how often and what, then it will help you be consistent. So then you need to put your research into a plan. Yeah. So you choose your platforms, you develop your content strategy, and your content strategy, I can't talk, it's 8 o'clock here in the morning, is not just what you want to say. It could be images. Instagram works on images. Pinterest works on images. The frequency. How often are you going to post? Every day? 3 times a week? Once a week? Where, when, and how. So you want to be very specific on your content strategy. And then what's your offer? You may not be putting your offer out there in every single post, but you should be putting it out there some of the time. And if you are trying to earn an income from your social media presence and your business, then you need your sales funnel. You need a way to get people interested in what you have to say, what you have to offer, and try to get them to go deeper to a point where they say, you know what, you have something I want, I'm willing to pay for it. That's your sales funnel. And your contact preferences. For example, I don't put my phone number out there because I don't want to talk to people on the phone at this point in time for my business. I put out my email address, I put out my YouTube channel, I put out my Facebook and my Instagram, and people can contact me through those sites. But you may want to talk to people on the phone, or you may want to offer people a way to have a live chat on your website. Whatever it is, you need to decide what are your contact preferences and how are people going to contact you in a way that works for you and for them. And you need a learning plan because you will be learning all the time if you want to keep improving. Learning is really important. So hopefully you love learning if you want to have a social media presence. And one of the things that happens is the social media platforms, they change their rules over time and the practices change. So you need to stay on top of that. Then you want to put your plan into action. You want to start. You want to stay active, and you want to adjust the plan from time to time. Take some time every once in a while to see how it's working and tweak it, because you may not get it perfect the first time or the second or the third or ever. But if you're tweaking it and if you're analyzing what works and doesn't work, you will always be improving. And then here's another thing that I think is really important. Make friends with the people that you're interacting with on social media, whether they're your audience, potential customers, collaborators, people you meet through networking. However you meet these people, make friends with them. And if you don't like social media, that's okay. I've come to like it, but in the beginning, I really detested it. But I think you do need to do it. I think it will help you build your business or your brand or your audience. So this is from Forbes magazine. It's a quote from an article. As we move further toward a new era of e-commerce, it's clear that social media marketing isn't just an option anymore. It's a business critical operation. And I'm the one who put business critical in bold. And I totally believe this is true. If you have a brick and mortar store and you only want to be a small site, just serving your local market around you, that's okay if that's what you want. But if you want to reach a wider audience or grow your business, then you need to be on social media. And to wind up, I'll give you 10 tips, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about the jungle. Social media is a tool. Master it. It doesn't need to control you. You control it. Keep learning. Be consistent. It's really important that you maintain your social media presence and at what schedule you've set, you try as much as possible to meet that schedule throughout the year. However, you can take a break and vacations are allowed. But if you're going to go on a 6-month tour of the world and do no social media activity, your business will suffer. So if you're really going to take a long vacation, you need to have a plan to keep your social media activity going while you're away, whether you just post about your vacation or whether you get someone else to manage it. But short breaks, like a week or two, they're not going to kill your social media presence. Give yourself time. This is something else that I learned the hard way. It doesn't happen overnight. Some people go viral quickly and some people like me do not, and that's okay. I've made peace with that because I am enjoying the journey. Be yourself. This is something that everybody who is teaching about YouTube or social media will say, there's nobody else like you. And when people buy into you and what you have to offer, it's a large part because of who you are and the presence that you bring to what you're offering. So be yourself, and the people that like you for who you are will be the people that connect with you. Connect with others. If you're like me doing a YouTube channel, it's a solo journey. I work alone in my basement. So it's important that you connect with others, join networking groups, or find other people that you're going to share information with, learn from them, and they can learn from you, help them, and they help you, as Richard just said. So connecting with others is really important, whether you're doing it to find collaborators or whether you're doing it to learn or whether you're just doing it so you can talk to someone besides your computer. Connect with others and then enjoy the journey, because it is a journey and it goes on. It never ends. So enjoy it because it becomes your life, and share the journey. Share some of the journey with your audience and your friends. Let them know what it is in the journey that you like. And I think this is really important. Have fun. So now, a year and a month after I started my YouTube channel and started having a social media presence, do I think it's a jungle? And let me know in the chat what you think. I decided that social media, it's not a jungle, it's a forest, and you plant one tree or one bush and you nourish it and it grows, and it may grow very fast like a poplar. It may grow very slow like an oak, but if you nourish it, it will grow. And that's how I view social media now. It's a forest full of many creatures and many plants, and we all have a place, and we all are part of an ecosystem. And if we create a good ecosystem with our own social media presence, we will help to create a good and positive ecosystem for the entire forest. So I hope that you found some value in me sharing my journey and my thoughts. And I want to say thank you so much. And I really do, actually, I learned a lot by doing this presentation. So thank you so much, everyone. And have a good time on social media. Bye.
Maria, you're muted.
Yes, somebody's muted.
Sorry, I was telling you so much. Debbie, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And one thing that I have learned from every single speaker over the 2 days is an acronym of 3 letters, VCP, visibility, credibility, profitability. We need to be visible on social media, because if we are visible, people will think of us. People will be remembering us for something that we have written, a photograph that we posted, video that we have created and shared. Credibility gives us that presence, what we are representing, our values, the way we are sharing the information and so on. And that will turn eventually into our profitability. It can happen immediately, it can happen a little bit later. Social media works immediately for some and a little bit later for others. But there is another aspect of it. If you are on LinkedIn, you will notice that LinkedIn is providing a statistics, people that you are connected to. And for instance, I am connected to directly to about 3,500 people on LinkedIn, but indirectly, and that is in line 1 and 2, because they don't do the line 3 and so on, I am connected to about 7,000 people. So now there is 12 of us here, and could I ask you in the chat to put a number of contacts that you hold in your mobile phone? Okay? Just rough number of contacts you've got in your phone. I'm going to put mine in. I've got on my phone, just 1 second, where is the chat? The chat here. And I've got, okay, and I'm taking a calculator and counting. 1 second, let me see. I see 90, 300, 330, 3598. What else we have? 150. Anyone else? Okay, so just let me do it again because my thingy was switched off. 200, 350, 150, 400, 150 again, 3598, 330, 300. Okay, so as I can show you, it's 5,000. Is here, 5,978. And let's assume, according to statistics, average person knows about 500 people. So if we multiply that by 500, yeah, and times 12, because there is 12 of us. So we have, between us, ladies and gentlemen, we have access to approximately 35,868 people. Can you see the power of this? Can you see the power if we share the content of our connections on social media? Can you see the power of achieving goals and getting the profits? It costs nothing. It takes only a second to share someone's content, but it is totally unprecedented how much we can help that person just by clicking a button. And that is what is amazing about social media, the power of going viral. And the only way we can go viral is if we help each other to share our content. So thank you very much once more. Are there any questions? If there are, You can either put them in the chat or unmute yourself and take a stand. Any questions to any of the speakers, please? I have a question to Debbie. Debbie, in what length of time have you gained your current following on YouTube?
Well, my first video went up on May 19th, 2020. But in the month of June, I have been on a slowdown, so my count hasn't really increased much. So I'd say in 1 year, 335 subscribers approximately in 12 months.
So now can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, this 398 followers, if they would just come for 1 minute on Debbie's videos and share that video that they watched at that time to their community, to their connections, Debbie would probably have 5 times the number of subscribers. That is the power that we can convey to social media. Okay. Now, Frankie, you had a question.
Yeah. Question to Michael. Michael, you said you do a lot of swimming. Is there any places where you swim in different countries or different places? How many places do you swim on average?
Michael?
Hello, mate. What places where I swim?
Yeah.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I missed that. I had a bit of a jump in my signal. What was that? Where do I swim?
You said you do swimming. Have you swum in any different places or different? What's the best place where you say you've swum or you've done a swim?
Yeah, well,
how many miles?
I live down in Felixstowe now, so I swim across the bay here. Well, almost every day now. There's daylight all day. But this is the adventuring side of things that I've got into through the connections through Facebook, through social media. So, you know, I've got tours and different things planned as well. Where I used to swim on Wirral was over at Leasowe Bay, just kind of New Brighton area, if you know that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but man, there's loads of different spots. What I'm quite keen to try is quite a lot more lake swimming, because I mostly do sea swimming, but I'm interested in having a look at a few lakes. So, you know, I'm thinking Snowdonia at the moment, but Lake District, you know, well, there's loads of places, yeah. Bit of a bushcraft week maybe as well, Frankie, you know, because I've been learning my bushcraft skills.
Wow.
I can make a fire now without, you know, without a lighter.
Excellent, Michael. It's great. Sounds great. Excellent.
Yeah. We'll give it a whirl sometime, my friend, when I'm up that way.
Yeah, I like it, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Good for you.
I'm telling you, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Michael, Debbie? I'm curious, what is the temperature of the water where you are?
It's quite warm now, Debbie. It's probably about 14 now or 15. So
warm. Oh wow. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice now. I can float because I judge it by I don't have any hair, you see, so I float on my back and look up at the sky. This is kind of what I was trying to say in my presentation, is just to appreciate the sheer vastness of what you're a part of. You know, I mean, it's just incredible. Learn a bit of humility. And I judge the temperature by how long I can float, because it's quite painful round my head, being because it's just on the surface of the water, you see. But it isn't painful anymore, so I can float in the water indefinitely now. But in like earlier in the year, say February, it's about 4 degrees. So I can probably only float for about a minute or so before it gets painful around my head. And then if I can float for longer, it's getting warmer.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
That's the scientist in me.
Hey, Michael, I think you would love it in Switzerland. It's 22 degrees in Switzerland, 21.
Is it really?
Yeah, 21 in the lakes.
Nice, Pete. Nice. I'm liking the sound of that. I don't know if our sea gets up to that sort of height. It's 21. That's pretty warm, man. I'd be really quite happy to see that up at 21. And this is the thing. I mean, I love it whether it's cold or whether it's not. You know, I love it either way. There's loads. It's different every time. You learn something every time. You know, that's what I love about it. And people say, "Oh, isn't it really good for your blood? Or isn't it really good for your immune system? Or isn't it really good for this, that, yeah, the other, whatever?" Yeah, probably, I guess. But I'm not reading why it's good for me. I'm doing it because I learn something different from it every time. And it takes me down another different avenue every time. And as I said earlier, I'm now so automatically thinking in a positive way. I'm looking at stuff and I'm appreciating all the little things that are going on around me. And I'm thinking, that is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the joy that fills you with is just, you know, you're unstoppable.
I mean, how would you like? How would you like in Bali? You can jump off a bridge on the river, and go off and you carry all your clothes in the bag, and you go off and then get dressed and walk up again.
I'd like that very much, Pete. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean that's kind of. I mean, it's not Bali, but it's kind of a plan for Snowdonia, Wales. A little sort of mountainous lake area in Wales, and you can go and have a walk or hike if you want to use that word, and look around, do some bushcraft, practice your bushcraft, and hopefully not make a mess of it, otherwise it's going to be a slight snag. And get into your lake swimming as well, you know, walk around a number of different lakes, a number of different mountains. Yeah, all good. Love it. And you're going to learn something there, I tell you.
1955, they had an outward bound course for young people because you didn't think young people could do it. And I was one of the guinea pigs. And it was December 1955. And it was a bit archaic then. You never had anything classic like we've got now, or helmets and bloody crampons and all this crap. So what they used to do is every morning they had people coming from all over the country representing Liverpool or representing Birmingham or wherever, or Derbyshire. And they ran us down to the lake. This is all of them, right? Down to the lake in the morning. And what they used to do then is get an axe and smash the wonderful ice off the lake so we could jump in and jump out. Now, you're going to love this one. Believe it or not, then, in 1955, I had hair. I'm running back to the bloody thing. I had a freaking big frosty head, fair hat. So, but one morning, we got really excited because you had to jump in. And as soon as you jump in, you jump right out as quick as you could. And being young, you jump out quick. So, one morning, they couldn't break the ice. It was that bloody cold. The ice was that thick. They couldn't break it. So they went, okay, everybody back to big mansion we were in. Down in the basement, cold shower. And we had to bloody stand there like lemons in that cold shower. So the next morning, we helped them break the ice on the lake. So yeah, it was good fun. So what you've done, you've actually opened yourself to the universe. And you're actually checking the temperature. But what happens then is you get used to it. Whereas if somebody's not used to it, they jump into really something icy, it could kill them, stop the heart. Yeah. So you've got to be careful on that one. Yeah. I'm still alive, so massive to me.
Fantastic. So just to wrap up the things, Anshu, would you like to have the last word, please?
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for your incredible experience that you're sharing and knowledge. You guys are full of wisdom and full of skills, and I have learned so much from you guys, and I have noted something that is important also, and I'm going to apply it. Welder Navy, you have said wonderfully point to point, and Frankie, Therese, I'm very grateful for host of first. Okay, I'm going to start. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Maria to hosting this event, and she did an amazing and fantastic job from yesterday. And I was not aware that after the summit, she had to attend a long 2-3 hours of network event as well. Sorry, Maria, somewhere I just made you a tired. Okay, and also all the amazing speakers like Frankie and John, Mira, Jorfi, Beat, Chiris, Lisa, Michael. I love Michael, your all the presentations that you have put up, and Stott and Debbie. Sorry if I missed. I think I have covered all, right? So as per my learning, just I want to share, I will take maximum 1-2 minutes about my learning of social media. Like earlier, before, global speakers talk community, I was very depressed all those days because, whenever I just put my post on the social media, hardly I get 1 and 2 likes on my blog, on my all the quotations and whatever I post. Because actually I just work on my personal growth training. So just whatever I learned and I just share through my post. Okay. So what I have realized that I have multiple friends, I have good friends, I have close friends and relatives. But why not they are just like my post? I was not, I was very tense about this. And in fact, I have a good relationships with them. But I don't know what is, I think, oh, they have a ego. Maybe they don't want to me to grow. Okay. But as per, I just taken a one coaching program. Okay. After that, how to make the credibility on social media. Then after attend this workshop, I have learned one thing that as per our, like we are cleaning our home. So in the same way, we have to clean up our friend list. Why? Because you don't need to keep those friends who are not engaging with your post. They are just burden on you, right? And just if you have your friends, so you have also friend that contacts in your phone number. So whenever you need to talk, you can connect with them through the phone. You don't need to keep them on social media and you have to make the number. Because as per Facebook, you have a limited 5,000. You can keep only 5,000 of numbers of friends. Okay, you can't exceed above 5,000. Okay, so then I have started to delete all my friends who is not engaging with my post. And then what I have done, I have started to engage and making connections with those who has a common interest, like you guys. Like, okay, we all are just working on our personal growth. We all are in somewhere a coaching business. Okay, so what happened whenever I post, then somewhere you will like, somewhere you will read because you are in the same journey. Okay, so then what happened when I have started to making my new connections with you guys, okay, with others coaching business peoples. So I got like, I got share, I got appreciation, and this is something that I got motivation. Okay, day by day I motivated. And so this is some basic tips I have learned that we have to every month clean up our friend list. Just delete them who is not engaging with your post because they are just burden on your friend list. Okay, number one. Number second, Maria has well said that making the credibility and presence. Yes, I have one thing realized that the more I just show up on the go, from social media, then what happened? The people of Facebook is watching you. Somewhere they have a strategy. There are some, marketing strategy. They always watch you. What you are doing? How much you are going to sharing your presence? How much you are just sharing your content? And one thing, guys, when you are just share the link, so it is not visible more. But yeah, with the link, when you add some value, when you add some content, so definitely your link will be visible more in the social media. These are some techniques that I have learned, so that I'm just sharing with you. So I have realized that making the credibility on social media, it is very important. Whether it is your live video, whether it is your recording video, whether it is your like images also, and quotations. But these days, yeah, I'm frankly saying these days, as per the research, live video and recording video is more demanding rather than content and images. So if you want to, sell your business, like in the same way I have grown, today 582 members on my, a global speakers talk community, and 127 subscribers in our YouTube channel within it's in 3 months. Yes. So this is all about I have learned, and also I have learned from you guys more tips, and also I'm going to apply it. So thank you so much for all your presence here. And this is my mission that I love to use my voice and talents to inspire you guys to aspire to believe in yourself. You can do it. You have your own voice, and I want to reach your voice at the top level. Okay, and you, through your journey, I am making my journey. This is very important. So thank you so much, everyone. So last but not least, Maria, just as usual, we are just going to take a selfie click with make good postures, whatever you like. Just make funny faces, like hands together. Anything you do, I'm going to take a selfie. Okay, guys. So are you ready? I'm going to count 5, and then I will click. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes. Just a moment. Yay!
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much again for hosting this so much long hours event. 2 days.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing Sunday, and I am looking forward to see you again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.